Battle Rider Rayzor S2. Episode 16, If Vedes Won. The air in the volcanic throne room hung thick with sulfur and the oppressive weight of ancient evil. Magma flowed sluggishly in channels carved into the obsidian floor, casting a hellish glow that danced across the scales of Demon Lord Vedes. The dragon demon ruler of the underworld was a colossal figure, his eyes burning with infernal fire, his massive clawed hands resting on the arms of a throne carved from solidified terror. Around him, shadowy forms, the Hellbound, shifted restlessly. Draxon, former high-ranking commander of the Zalaris Empire, now a creature clad in dark, repurposed alien tech, stepped into the throne room. The heavy stone doors ground shut behind him, echoing in the vast space. He stopped at the base of the steps leading to Vedes' throne, his posture rigid, but there was no defiance in his gaze. Vedes' tail lashed, striking the floor with a sound like thunder. Draxon, his voice boomed, a sound that vibrated in one's very bones. You return, and yet I do not see the Time Guardian. Explain yourself, failure. He slammed a fist onto the armrest, cracking the cooled obsidian. Draxon raised a hand, not in surrender but presentation. In his grip, held aloft, was a staff of twisting, luminous energy encased in ancient metal, the Time Guardian's staff. My Lord Vedes, Draxon's voice was a low rasp, entirely devoid of emotion. The Guardian proved resilient. It is impossible to capture the entity itself. However, I secured this, its core power. Hellbound scuttled forward at a gesture from Vedes, their forms indistinct in the gloom. They reached Draxon, their shadowy hands carefully taking the staff. They moved with an unnerving reverence, carrying the artifact of pure, ordered time energy towards their master. Vedes watched them approach, his fiery eyes fixed on the glowing staff. As the Hellbound presented it, Vedes extended a massive clawed hand. His dark, ancient power, drawn from the deepest pits of creation, pulsed outwards, meeting the luminous, ancient power of the staff. The air shimmered, a silent struggle of cosmic forces. The staff pulsed violently in his grip, resisting the demonic energy, but Vedes' hold was absolute. A slow, cruel smile spread across Vedes' draconic features. HMMPH, while it is true you failed to bring me the shepherd, Draxon, you have delivered his crook, the next best thing, perhaps even better asterisk. He gave the staff a slight shake, the luminous energy flickering, momentarily dimming the volcanic light. The Guardian controls time, but this is the mechanism of control. He looked past Draxon into the shadows that clung to the edges of the throne room. Narkin. A figure detached itself from the darkness. Narkin, the Zalaris lead scientist, thought dead after the dark warp carrier crashed on the moon, now served a new, darker master. He was a gaunt, calculating being, his cybernetic eye glowing faintly. He bowed low, a parody of respect. My lord, Narkin said, his voice a rasp, tinged with artificial modulation. Take this staff, Vedes commanded, holding it out. Narkin approached, his natural caution evident even as he reached for the artifact. Study it, analyze its energies, find a way to harness its power. I require it. To open portals. Portals not just through space, but through time. Narkin carefully took the staff, his cybernetic eye whirring as it immediately began scanning the alien energies. Time manipulation is inherently unstable, my lord, prone to paradox and unintended consequences. The very fabric of reality could. Silence, Vedes roared, shaking the throne room. I am Demon Lord Vedes, I know the risks, but the battle riders, they are a persistent inconvenience, they interfere with my plans, they must be removed permanently. He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a chilling hiss. You will find a way to use this staff, Narkin, to open a portal that will send those pestilent riders outside of the timeline itself, to limbo, where they will remain forever. Draxon, who had remained silent, finally spoke. And what then, my lord? What is the plan once they are removed? Vedes grinned, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. Then, Draxon, the earth is ours for the taking. Without their protectors, the pathetic humans will fall swiftly. The barriers between realms will crumble and my hellbound will walk the surface. The humans will be reduced to dust beneath my foot, and I will reshape that insignificant world in my image. He gestured towards Narkin. Now go, both of you. The clock is ticking. I want results. Narkin bowed again, clutching the time staff as if it might bite him, and retreated back into the shadows, Draxon following close behind. Vedes leaned back on his throne, the staff's luminous energy now a faint, almost imperceptible hum in his hand, a terrifying toy in the grip of utter malice. Back in Coral Cove, beneath the mundane facade of the Special Missions Department, the atmosphere was thick with a different kind of energy, relief, confusion, and a looming sense of dread. The battle riders, out of their armor and back in civilian clothes, stood in the main operations center. Liam, his usual brave demeanor a little strained, ran a hand through his hair. Steve, the racer, still looked slightly bewildered. Matt, the police officer, was his typically focused self, while Eddie, the SMD agent, shared a look of weary understanding with his friend. Zara King, the technician who had brought them all together, stood near a figure who shimmered with faint celestial light, the Time Guardian. He was a being of pure energy, ancient and wise, now safely returned after their latest mission. "Welcome to SMD headquarters, Guardian," Zara said, offering a tired smile. "We're glad you're safe." The Guardian nodded, his form pulsing gently. "And I am grateful for your intervention, battle riders. Your realm faces many threats, both terrestrial and otherwise." Steve Adams, ever the pragmatist trying to grasp the cosmic, ran a hand over his crew-cut hair. "Man, this time travel stuff is getting way too complex to keep track of. 1 minute, we're fighting demons. The next, we're babysitting a guy who lives outside time." The Guardian's luminous gaze swept across the room, stopping on a figure standing slightly apart. This figure was clad in stark black and white armor, an unstable, potentially dangerous prototype battle rider Rayzor Zero, from a dark, alternate future. "And you," the Guardian's voice took on a somber tone, "you should not exist in this timeline, battle rider Rayzor Zero. Your very presence is a temporal anomaly." He paused, his form flickering slightly. "Why are you here?" Rayzor Zero didn't remove his helmet, his voice coming through the helmet's speaker, distorted and weary. "Surely, Guardian, you know why I am here. You know of the future I come from, of what happens, of Vedes' victory." The Guardian's light dimmed further, a sign of profound sorrow. "I do," he admitted. "I have witnessed the branching paths of possibility. I know why you are here, and I know precisely when the battle riders vanish. And why." He raised a hand, and the air crackled with temporal energy. In the center of the operations center, a viewing window shimmered into existence, showing not their present but a horrifying possible future. Coral Cove lay in ruins, buildings shattered, vehicles overturned. The sky was a sickly green, and grotesque, shadowy figures, hellbound and other demons, roamed freely amongst the wreckage. Fountains of magma erupted spontaneously from the ground. It was a world utterly conquered, devoid of hope. "This," the Guardian's voice was heavy with gravitas, "is the future you seek to prevent. A future where Demon Lord Vedes reigns unchallenged." The image shifted, focusing on a massive, volcanic fortress, Vedes' stronghold, overseeing the ruined landscape. "This is what happens when the battle riders are gone." Liam felt a cold knot form in his stomach. He had faced Vedes and his demons, but seeing Earth utterly defeated, shattered. It was a blow he hadn't anticipated. Steve was pale, Matt's jaw was clenched, and Eddie's eyes were grim. "Gone?" Steve asked, his voice barely a whisper. "But how? We always find a way." The Guardian's light flickered back to the present timeline, the horrific vision fading. "Because Vedes," he stated, his voice firm, "obtains the means to remove you. He acquires my staff. He uses its power to send you to limbo. Forever. A realm outside of time and space. A prison from which there is no return." Rayzor Zero stepped forward, his armored form radiating grim determination. "That is why I am here," he stated. "To prevent that specific event. To stop Vedes from getting the staff or to interrupt his plan if he does. To rewrite that future." Just as the enormity of the revelation settled upon them, alarms blared through the SMD base. Red lights flashed and a voice echoed over the intercom. "Temporal energy surge detected. Massive anomaly signature. Located. Coral Cove Park." Zara scrambled to a console, bringing up the external monitors. On the screen, in the familiar, sunny environment of Coral Cove Park, a figure stood alone. It was Draxon, his dark armor contrasting sharply with the green trees and manicured paths. In his hand, crackling with unholy energy mixed with luminous power, was the Time Guardian's staff. "He has it," Matt exclaimed. "He must be trying Vedes' plan," Eddie added. Guardian, Rayzor Zero, and the 4 battle riders looked at each other. Civilian clothes were forgotten. The threat was immediate. "Battle Rider Rayzor, ride on," Liam yelled, reaching for his chrono buckle. "Battle Rider Drive, accelerate," Steve activated his vortex band. "Battle Rider Siren, emergency," Matt fired his arc blaster. "Battle Rider Velocity, start up," Eddie grasped his Evo changer. Energy swirled around them. Liam transformed into the silver-armored Battle Rider Rayzor. Steve became the red-armored Battle Rider Drive. Matt was encased in the blue armor of Battle Rider Siren. Eddie became the crimson and white Battle Rider Velocity. "Let's move," Rayzor yelled, already running towards the exit. Moments later, the 6 figures, the 4 primary riders, the enigmatic Rayzor Zero, and the shimmering form of the Time Guardian, arrived at Coral Cove. The peaceful park was now distorted, the air hazy with temporal energy radiating from Draxon and the staff. "Draxon," the Guardian's voice echoed, cutting through the temporal distortion. "Return the staff. You cannot wield such power without destroying yourselves." Draxon turned, his visage cold and devoid of his former Xylaris loyalty, now only serving the abyss. He said nothing, no word of explanation or defiance. Instead, he raised the time staff higher, channeling the unstable energies. With a deafening roar, the air in front of him ripped open. Not a clean tear, but a jagged, chaotic wound in reality. A massive portal formed, swirling with sickening colors and emanating a powerful, irresistible vacuum. It wasn't just pulling asterisk air. It was pulling at the very fabric of existence around it. Leaves, loose debris, and even small rocks were instantly sucked into the vortex. The riders, the Guardian and Rayzor Zero, felt a powerful, unyielding force grab at them, trying to drag them into the chaotic maw. "Gah, the pull is too strong," Drive yelled, digging his armored boots into the ground. "We can't fight this," Siren grunted, bracing against the wind. Velocity deployed his energy shield gauntlet, trying to deflect the force, but it merely bent the energy around him. Rayzor struggled against the suction, his chrono buckle humming wildly. He looked at the chaotic portal, then at Rayzor Zero. The future rider seemed to understand something the others didn't. "It's heading for limbo," Rayzor Zero's distorted voice cut through the roar of the vortex. He succeeded, partially. The pull intensified. Rayzor felt himself losing ground, sliding forward despite his efforts. The Guardian's form flickered violently, struggling to maintain cohesion against the temporal chaos. Seeing their impending doom, Rayzor Zero raised a gauntleted hand. Energy sparked, building rapidly. "If we're going, it won't be on his asterisk terms." He fired a concentrated beam of black and white energy from his gauntlet, not at Draxon, but directly into the chaotic portal. The beam struck the swirling energies within, causing a violent reaction. The large, uncontrolled portal shuddered, then began to fracture. As it fractured, another, smaller portal ignited asterisk within asterisk, the larger one, a secondary tier, less chaotic than the first, but equally demanding. This new portal, seemingly created by Rayzor Zero's unique energy signature interacting with the staff's power, shifted the vacuum. The pull redirected slightly, focusing on the space where the 6 heroes stood. "What did you do?" Velocity cried out. "Redirected the destination," Rayzor Zero replied. "We're still going through, but maybe not to the precise hellhole Vetti's planned." It was too late to resist. The altered pull was overwhelming. Rayzor felt his feet leave the ground. Drive, Siren, Velocity, the Guardian, and Rayzor Zero were likewise torn from the earth. They were all sucked into the fractured secondary portal within the main vortex, swallowed by the swirling chaos of time and space. Draxon watched, the time staff still raised, the massive original portal roaring behind him. A chilling, victorious laugh escaped his lips. "Fools, no matter where you land, you are gone from this timeline. The Earth now belongs to Vetti's." The chaotic portal remained open for a few more moments, then snapped shut as Draxon lowered the staff, leaving the desecrated park unnaturally silent under the distorted sky. Darkness, silence, a dull ache in his head and across his armor. Liam Walker's eyes fluttered open. He lay on abrasive, broken concrete. The air felt stagnant and tasted of dust and decay. He took a shaky breath, the strange taste foreign and unwelcome. He tried to move, and pain shot through him. His silver armor, the Battle Rider Rayzor suit, was deactivated. The familiar hum of the chrono buckle was absent. The metal felt cold and heavy against his skin. He pushed himself up onto his elbows, then struggled to his knees. He looked around, his vision blurry at first, then sharpening into horrifying focus. He was in Coral Cove, but it wasn't the vibrant park they had just been in. This was the ruined Coral Cove from the Time Guardian's vision. Buildings were skeletal remains against a sky that was a perpetual, sickly twilight. Trees were withered husks or shattered splinters of wood. The familiar pathways were choked with rubble and strange, crystalline growths that pulsed with faint, malevolent light. The scent of sulfur and something else, something sickly sweet and rotten, hung heavy in the air. He was alone, utterly terrifyingly alone. Steve, Matt, Eddie, Zara, Guardian, Rayzor Zero. His voice was hoarse, barely a whisper in the dead air. Only the echoes of his own panic answered him. His chrono buckle remained stubbornly dormant. The source of his power, his ability to fight, was gone. He was just Liam Walker, a young man in broken, useless armor, stranded in a nightmare. He struggled to his feet, his legs unsteady. The ruined landscape stretched out before him, silent and desolate. Where were the others? Had Rayzor Zero's last-ditch effort sent them all to different places, different asterisk times? A low growl echoed from the shadows of a shattered building. Liam's head snapped towards the sound, every instinct screaming danger. He was trapped, marooned, and something else was here with him in this ruined future. He was in Vetti's world, and he was alone. The end. Next time on Battle Rider Rayzor Dark Future, Part 1, Alone Against the Coming Dawn. Can Rayzor navigate this hellish future to find his friends, or will the shadows consume him before the fight truly begins?
Stronger than before. Battle Riders go! On the Coral Cove shore, darkness rising, a war like never before. Demon Lord Venus, his will is cold and hard. got the speed, he's got the heart, he's the core. Liam Walker, battle rider Rayzor. Burning rubber, the ultimate rush. That's Racer Steve Adams, battle rider drive. Serving justice with the siren's might. Officer Matthew Jennings makes it right. Battle rider siren. And leading the charge for the special mission team. It's Eddie Hayes lighting up the dark. Battle rider velocity. From the Shadow Network, a king breaks his chain. Jackson King, he's here to fight the pain. A battle rider maverick now, side by side. He knows the secrets where the demons hide. But the skies crack open, a new arrival speeds. A final warning sown from bitter seeds. A dark future whispers of the fight to come. The battle's just begun. Across the city streets, a flash of metal screams, fueling the fury to crush Vitus' dark schemes.